I'll tell you one story that
Please
came in
do.
my head. Friend of mine, Rasim, he was in prison in France. And he was a underground fighter,
Okay.
illegal fighting. And he was very good,
Right.
illegal boxing. And then the mafia picked him up.
Mm.
And they made him an enforcer. And then he used to train other gang members in fighting.
Right.
And then he got affiliated with like the Colombian mafia. And
It got worse and worse.
it got worse and worse. This is like a true mafia
story.
story. Yeah. Multiple mansions, Ferraris. He lived a life. And then he got caught on a fake passport or something. And then he was in a prison cell in France. Okay. And while he's in prison, he decides to figure out, because he had connections. I guess I'm going to start learning my religion. So he came across some of my videos,
Okay.
started studying, started learning Arabic, started memorizing the Quran. Then he memorized Surah Yasin. Then he watched I did a tafsir lecture series on Surah Yasin. He did it. And he's among a bunch of other prison mates, mostly non-Muslims. And he starts teaching them Surah Yasin.
Was he already a Muslim at the time?
He was Muslim,
he
but
was
majority of them weren't.
Okay.
So now they're memorizing one phrase in Surah Yasin, and they're watching my explanation video. And I didn't know this, right? And then they're watching the next, and they, like 25 guys memorized Surah Yasin with its explanation, became Muslim, and when they went back from prison, they went and explained Surah Yasin to their families, and they became Muslim.
Wow.
Okay. And this guy in prison, I was during COVID, I was teaching online Arabic classes.
Right.
And I didn't know thousands of students. He was one of my students.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just say, hey, who'd like to call in? And I did a live call in.
Okay.
And there's, this guy just, calling in and talking to me about his progress and asking Arabic questions. He goes, by the way, Ustad, I want to show you something. And he turns his camera around. And I see the bars of the prison and I see the prison yard. Like, what is going on here? Like because of how he transformed, because, prisoners are violent, they get, stabbings, ever since they started coming under his influence, they started getting on their best behavior. So the warden offered him the internet access for a limited time and the ability to make calls. And I'm looking at this and going, Allah's guidance does not happen in any specified location for any specific kind of person.
Yeah.
Anyone who decides they're going to turn to Allah, Allah will make a way for them. So when someone says, I don't know where to begin, I think you haven't asked yourself the right questions yet. Because he never asked where to begin. He just began. And Allah did the rest. Right? And I look at people like that and I'm jealous. Honestly, I'm jealous because these are people that are dear to Allah.
Yeah.
Like, how far in the darkness can they be? And then Allah will give them light. Right? These are gifted people.
Anywhere you are.
So, people say, Ustad, you have so much knowledge. You've done so many videos. I know how little knowledge I have. But it doesn't matter if I did 1 million videos.
Yeah.
I still wonder if Rasim's efforts are 1 billion times bigger than anything I've ever done in my life.
Subhanallah.
He makes me jealous. Because in the end, it's effort, isn't it?
And for him, you inspired him. But for you, I'm sure
he's my biggest inspiration. He's one of my biggest inspirations.
Subhanallah.
SubhanAllah.
Beautiful.
Allah protect him and his family and keep the people that he's inspired to do good on the khair. MashaAllah, he's still studying Quran. He's got a scholars teaching him and he's just advancing and advancing and advancing. MashaAllah.